Good evening and welcome to a very, very special stream this evening where we're going to talk everything about the season that's just happened, talk about the fixtures, talk about a little bit of transfer news because it's suddenly gone boom. And and then we'll do some small giveaway at the end. So, good evening, gentlemen. How are we all?
Evening, Martin. Evening, Rich.
Evening. Morning.
Don't bust a got an enthusiasm now, you two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. You dropped a bit of a bombshell, Martin, so, you know.
I know it's been a long season, but
it's been an exhausting season. I mean, why are we all wearing black? You know, are we teenage United fans?
Oh, that's for the announcement at the end.
Are you becoming a United fan? Excellent.
Good evening, FIFA. How are you? Yeah, we are. Shermaine, thank you for coming to channel member. You have been entered into the draw because it was earlier on, so thank you. You are entered in now. I want to give a shout out to Brilliant Support. I know we get a lot of tribalism in football, but we got a lovely message on Facebook from Philip Brown. Congratulations. There you go. Well done, Michael Feeney. Thank you, mate. I haven't had a chance to respond to your personal message, mate. I will get back to you. I promise you. I've just been maxed out over the last couple of days. Big thank you to you for all your support. Anyway, I'm going to speak to everyone at the end anyway. Like I said, the raffle will not be till the end. So you're going to have to stay to all of it. Sorry. Alec Johnson, hello. What a season. 3-peat treble still on a high. Yes, Gordon McQueen has passed away today. So thoughts and prayers are with his family and everyone else. It is sad. Yeah, so sad when you lose one of the football. Can't even speak anymore. The words have gone.
The football family.
Yeah,
and
thank you, Rich.
You know, too young as well.
Yeah. Evening Blues. Muddy Duck, I did get your email earlier. I will respond back to that, mate. I promise you. I've had no chance. I've just giraffe read it, so I do apologise. Christine, Kately, hello, mate. How are you? Thank you as well for adding us into the DM that ASAM put out the other night. That was very kind of you. Champions of Europe, we know what we are. We're going to get into that. Nice, lads. We just won the effing treble. By the way, I'm toning down the language at the moment. You might notice because we're getting monetized differently. YouTube have changed some of their T's and C's. And you might notice some videos aren't getting ads on as much because there's some swear words in it. So we've got to calm down the swearing. YouTube have told us off. Naughty.
Fudge.
It'll definitely won't be me.
I've had to send 5 videos for review. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? Anyway, Peter Grest, Evening Blue, still in Turkey. Did you manage to get over? I know you're on a family holiday. I hope you managed to get over and sort that out. Concur what, Ozza?
Hey, I owe to Michael Feeney's words about Liverpool fan. Yeah, sorry, my message was a bit wonky.
Yeah, Michael Feeney wishing all the competition members good luck. Evening, Peter. Hope that is out of choice, not because you had your passport. Oh dear. Hello, Blue. Still on a high after a memorable season. I'm going to see the three tropes on display at the City Shop tomorrow. Can't wait. Is that the store or the one in the Arndale, Charlie? Let me know. Because my son wanted to go as well. What a season it has been. Big Sam, we're going to get into that, Shemaine, later on. There was something Stuart Pearce said as well, but that'll come in part 3 of the show tonight. Evening, Treble Father. Hope your parents are well. Congrats to Ozzy and hope the rest of the gang are doing well. If you didn't know, Ozzy got a ball and chain put on him.
Hey.
Sorry, he got married. Ball and chain, mate. Deal with it. Hello. No ring on my finger. They're only there tomorrow 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Which one? Yeah, if you can smash the likes, that'd be amazing. Finally get to see Big A's. I mean, I saw it, but I was getting peed on rain at the same time. I was getting thrown down the rain. DC, good evening. How are you? I'm going to try and fly through all these comments. So many, and not going to get a chance to get through them all. Who think we're going to get rice? Any of the rice stuff, I'll come to at the end. Yes, there you go. Put it up. I did. I will come back to that. I promise you. I need to speak to the lads because you got some great ideas as well. I need to speak to the lads about. Listen, I ain't interested in June's had his chance. June messed it up and he's gone to Real Madrid. Good luck to him, but hey, I think he'll regret it. Anyway, awful season. I was expecting a quad sat the board. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, he's got a point.
Where's my Carabao Cup?
Rich, you promised.
You know, the one day of the year I enjoy. The one day of the year I have me middle of the season day out, and they ballsed it up.
The mighty Southampton.
Blame you, Rich.
Yeah, blame me.
You had no interest in it, did you? You know, when's the derby? I'm going to get into all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. Let's get into the season then. I will go through your comments as I go in. If there's any questions, I'll start them and I'll come back to you. Promise you all. Season review. Not bad. 5 out of 10.
Yeah. Did I predict United to get relegated again?
No, hang on, Rich. We'll come to that in a minute. Stop.
That's what I want to know.
Jump
was
the
that
gun
last
here.
year? That was last year. Oh, I can't remember.
We'll get into it. Rich.
Someone predicted Arsenal were getting relegated. You had United getting relegated. I don't know what was going on last season.
I think they were close. They just scraped it with a few lucky results.
Pat is joining us, by the way. Pat is literally been on a 5-day bender somewhere, and I don't even know where he's up to anymore. He was on his Facebook group earlier doing a 2-hour stream yesterday. Didn't bloody mention me once, by the way. Not got one mention.
You
left him behind, Martin. You left him behind. You don't leave a man behind.
I hate the next few months now through to November. All we'll hear is Plastic Red fanboys. Right, go on then, Ozzy. You've got the results there. Tell us what the start of season predictions was.
Okay, so let's go with the top 4 predictions. Martin, so you had City in first place. Behind them.
Sorry, start that again.
At least you didn't have Spurs second, like some absolute twat.
So you had City in first place, winning the Premier League.
Yeah.
You had Liverpool second, Chelsea third.
Ballsed up with that. Jesus.
And Tottenham fourth.
Oh, well, I got number 1 right.
You got number 1 right. That's what counts. Rich, you got City first.
Yeah.
You got Tottenham second.
Yeah.
You got Chelsea third and Liverpool fourth.
You can be quiet.
Yeah, I can.
I had City first, Liverpool second, Chelsea third, and Arsenal fourth. So I was the only one out of the 3 of us who called Arsenal that would be in the top 4.
It didn't recognise what car crashes Chelsea, Tottenham, and Liverpool were.
None of us saw that coming, to be fair.
To be totally fair, no one expected Chelsea. No one expected the car crash of Chelsea. Let's be honest. Nobody expected Liverpool to fall off. Did anyone have Newcastle?
The funny thing is, I remember the long discussion, and you know,
it's all coming back to you now, is it, Rick?
I remember saying how much I thought Liverpool would come off, but I remember saying how good a job I thought Conte would do because
you did. I watched it back today, mate, and it was just hysterical.
4 in 10 titles, and I kind of remember, thinking that Liverpool would drop off because of the player changes and because of the quad, but dropping to fourth. But I thought, well, you had to think Chelsea were gonna. There's no reason. I didn't think that Chelsea should have happened as they did. I thought they brought in a good manager. They didn't give him time, but then they just went nuts and signed way too many players. At Tottenham, just a disaster really. Because in all honesty, a manager as good as Conte with the squad he had should have done better. But something went on there because Conte fell out, and then he sulked, and it was almost like they were all deliberately trying to self-destruct.
Rich, you were like on the Tottenham hype train. You were like, you really
absolutely.
were. It was quite funny.
Conte. I think Conte's record. I think I said at the time, 4 in 10 seasons he wins a title. Klopp wins 1 in 10.
Yeah, and you were right with your odds, mate. To be fair, but me and Martin did predict that Conte would go. We said that he would either be sacked or more likely he would leave.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I need to get a pen and paper.
And generally when he doesn't win, he goes. I mean, he is a tempestuous fella. I just thought he was good enough to do a far better job. But to get, for all of it, 2 out of 4, you'd think was pretty bad, but compared to 1 out of 4, it's better.
Yeah, so I was the only one to obviously get 2 out of the top 4 right. You and Martin just got the 1 each. So,
any other predictions?
Yeah, so the predictions for going down. Martin, would you like to hear yours first?
I bet I had bloody Brentford, didn't I?
Actually, you didn't, Rich. It was actually Martin. So there's no order of who they were going down in. But anyway, so Martin had Brentford, Everton, and Leeds.
I got one spot on, and one was very close, and one was just nowhere bleeding there.
Yeah. Rich, you had Fulham, Bournemouth, and you went with United.
I told you you had United.
Yeah.
I think I've had United the last 2. I'm going for them next year as well. They're rubbish. They're definitely going down soon enough.
Well, apparently, I've never seen United fans, by the way, go from this morning. They were having an absolute. I can't say the word anymore. It's not fair. YouTube, sort yourself out. I've said it's not for kids. Listen, they've gone from ecstasy to they're all having a meltdown in the space of like 6 hours. Because this morning, Qatar is taking us over. So it's now come out. So Jim is still the preferred bidder.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know if people have thought about that, but that for them is going to mean no change at all, because he's only going to actually own about 40% of the shares in the deal he's proposed. So he's not going to invest a penny. Why would you invest money if you're only 40%? Basically, he wants to do a deal where he takes all the voting shares off the Glazers on the same terms and does it the same. And if they're going to spend any money on the ground or on players, it's going to be debt. So it makes you wonder actually whether they'll actually spend and invest less under him than they will under the Glazers.
Well,
it's crazy.
The Glazers, I'm hearing the Glazers don't particularly like the Saudis very much at all.
Qataris,
Qataris,
they don't want to leave.
I think it's more they just don't want. They don't want to make a deal with them. I think that's what I'm hearing. That they just really don't like the way they do business.
The way they work, I'm not sure that's true. I reckon they'd take who gives them the most money. I think they must think they can get more money doing it the other way.
Hang on, stop. Right, Money Duck. Let's have a chat, me and you.
No. Martin, before we do the chat,
you need to tell your relegation.
I'm about to tell my relegation.
You got 3 out of 3, did you?
I didn't get 3 out of 3. So I had. So my first was Wolves. My second was Leicester, and my third was Southampton. So I did get 2 out of 3 right. Martin, when I said Leicester, you were like, where have you got that from, Ozzy? I was like, I've just got this feeling. And you were like, nah, you're talking absolute rubbish.
Hey, bother, mate. Just wait till we get to December. Wait till we hit December time. Because I'm just going to mug the pair of you off right now. Yeah. The pair of you getting mugged off when we hit December time.
Is that when you said we'd never play Walker again?
Yeah, that's pretty
much.
That's when Martin Horsfield changed.
Said we'll never change the way we play.
And everyone was having a meltdown.
Walker won't get another game.
No,
Foden won't get another game.
3-2-2-3.
We'll only play the same 11.
Now, hang on, Rich. Boring football. Where's me winger? Where's Sane? Where's Sterling? Where's this? Where's that? They haven't got any fast wingers.
Sane left us a few years back, and
in 6 months, Ozzy, he still doesn't understand the point. And the funny thing is, Cheeky is out there looking for the 2 players that Martin said we're not interested in anymore.
Well, I wasn't. Hang on, Rich will come to the transfer part. No, honestly. But I became the treble.
What about the cups? What about the cup predictions?
No, I became the treble father.
So the cups was a little bit more. We weren't solid in our predictions apart from City winning the Premier League. So Martin turned around and said he thought Pep was just going to focus on the Premier League and the Champions League, and that's all we'd win. So he got 2 out of 4, pretty much. Rich, you would only give us that City would play in all competitions and would win the Premier League. So you didn't give me a solid prediction. So I also said the same thing. We'd win the Premier League and we would play for every competition. And I did kind of say, though, I felt we would win the Champions League. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's because fans of your hero, all you care about is the Champions.
Here we go. I can't wait until Pat gets on. I really can't. So the other thing that we talked about was dark horses. So dark horse predictions. Now, Rich, I'm just going to throw yours quickly out.
Who got relegated? It's bound to be one of them.
It was United just getting relegated. That's all you talked about pretty much most of that stream. So
yeah, well, they are crap, and I think that more needs to be talked about how crap they are.
So then my prediction was Newcastle would be the dark horse, and they would get into top 7. So
weren't they in top 7 the year before? Nearly. No. I mean, they finished 8th or 9th the year before. After there,
yeah, I don't know where the dark horse came from. They jumped from 9th to 7th. Dark horse.
I said they get a European spot, so I was right, but just not. They didn't realise they get the top 4. And then Martin said Eddie Howe would be sacked because of the
way the season too early.
You possibly could be, but at the moment, that's your prediction at the beginning of the season. Eddie Howe wouldn't see the season out because, he wasn't a good enough manager. He was the Bournemouth manager. He got them relegated.
Still agree with it.
Okay. You were wrong.
I think he'll be gone next season.
You were wrong for this season, though, Martin. So you're going to have to eat those words.
I said, no, I'm just a year early. That's all. A year early on that one.
Well,
so you're premature, man. Right, okay.
Adam?
You're premature.
I've never been called that before.
So the other 2 bits I'd just like to mention, just before we wrap this bit up.
This is becoming the Aussie Appreciation Show now, isn't it?
So, Martin, you predicted that West Ham would win a cup, and we all said it would probably be the Conference League, which they did. So, congratulations to West Ham, and congratulations to us all, because...
Come on, you Irons.
We got that one right. And Rich, I'm just throwing this out. This hasn't anything to do with football, but you did predict it, that Liz Truss would become Prime Minister and the country would go... So...
Hang on. I didn't know we were doing world predictions here. Hang on a minute.
I just had to throw that in because when I saw it, it was funny. So I just had to.
There's some predictions that are quite sad to make.
And you made it, Rich. So.
Yeah, if only I'd have shorted her on the number of days she lasted.
I know. Anyway, so those were our predictions for the beginning of the season. I think I win that one. So I win this seat for this season's predictions.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you win it?
Yes.
Do you win it? Really?
Clearly.
Because
yes, I clearly do.
Clearly.
No, because there was only one treble, Father. And I didn't do this in March.
Martin,
hang on a minute. Whoa. I am going to dispute this.
Martin,
changing your name.
Everyone in the chat, put who's won.
I am going to just look for the video. You two chat away.
Martin,
I did a video.
Martin, listen, before you embarrass yourself, Martin,
we're
talking about pre-season predictions in August, right? Coming in with something you decided to say 5 months later after the deadline, which was the show in August, does not count. You know, I can't play around the golf. I can't play around the golf. But Martin, I can't play around the golf. Go and have a couple of beers, run back out on the course, replay 3 of the holes, come in and claim.
You really want me to put the YouTube comments up? Listen, let's get this straight. I did a video back in February.
You're a sore loser, Martin. You really are a sore
Ozzy. Yeah. Congratulations, Ozzy. It's a good win, and I think your predictions were good. But United are going down next season. And
we'll do predictions in August for next season.
Yeah. I got the Bellingham. No, listen. I got the Bellingham.
I'm gonna have to do some thinking. I'm gonna have to do some thinking on the relegation next year. Though.
I will hold my L.
Yeah,
I will hold my L. What the hell? I will hold my L on Jude Bellingham all day. Except that if the lad has no brains. That ain't my fault.
We're not talking about transfer.
No, listen, this is where I will hold my L. Bellingham I do. When everybody was having a meltdown in February, City are boring. City are this. City are rubbish. We're not going to win a raffle, never mind a trophy. I went, big chest, we're winning the lot.
I'd love to see Martin. I reckon Martin must never, ever allowed to be right by his missus because he's so desperate to be right.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Rich.
Yeah.
So, Martin, you've got a chance. You've got a chance. You've got a chance next
Charlie's
season.
put congratulations, Ozza.
Thank you, Charlie.
FIFA's put now Martin wins.
Wow. FIFA, you're letting me down there.
FIFA's FPL's have hashtag Martin. Bingy Wong's put Martin wins.
Some sycophants in this chat.
Should we get some special T-shirts with Martin's always right on?
Yeah, I think we should.
Even when he's wrong, he's right. We'll be calling you the
Rich one. Dennis has put Alan wins.
He's not here, so he gets.
I've got a prediction for next season. Alan's going to be miserable. Bing, I win. Guys, listen. No, this is only a bit of tongue in cheek. This is a bit of a laugh and a bit of a joke. At the end of the day, we've all won. All Manchester City fans support the greatest football team in the land and all the world. We thought it anyway, but factually we now are. We're not only the best team in England, factually, we're now the best team in Europe, factually. And all these so-called heritage clubs and history clubs and everything else that they all want to bang on about. Sorry. Equal City. Embarrassed you. Embarrassed you. And we now sit on the top of the footballing world, looking down on everyone else, while we hold the 3 biggest trophies we could have won.
Hang on, Martin. We've got one more trophy, the Club World Cup, to win.
Jesus Christ. I've already had a debate on that.
You love that trophy, Martin.
So do we send out the resis and play the full team in the Carling Cup or the Littlewoods Cup, Milk Cup, whatever it's called, or do we play the send out the first team and play the resis in the Carling Cup? Because isn't the World Club Trophy the same? One's on the 20th, then the Carabao Cup's the 21st, and then the next game's the 22nd or something.
Oi! Don't be answering comments when I've started it to come back to it later on.
That people need their answers.
They do.
Oh, we did, BB. We did move for him. Evening, Alan.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late. I've had to sort my mother out first before I left the house. So I do apologise.
Yeah. Alan had City and United. Alan had City and United getting relegated, so
He did.
That, Abdallah.
Yeah.
Hey, Richard, are you ready for Friday evening, mate, for the Ashes series?
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching it tonight.
No, shut up. End of that crap. Football channel. No one cares about bloody cricket.
Oh,
anyway, we'll get into that. Evening, all Ray Fernley. I agree, Martin wins. He was steadfast in the treble belief. Thank you very much. Let me cry more losers. Listen, let them all cry. If I hear about 115 bloody charges again, I'm going to bloody, they're even doing parody videos now. It's quite funny. Stretford paddock. They all belong in a bloody paddock.
Oh no.
Have you seen, Martin, the clipboard he was reading from? Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I can't say a lot because Richard banned you out the comments.
So, Martin, have you seen what the clipboard was saying?
I wasn't watching that closely. I'm not gonna lie.
So the clipboard was saying that basically was referring to when Pep was accused of drug cheating when he played for Barcelona.
No. I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, what is wrong with those bloody United fans? Especially the Stretford paddock. I mean, Jesus, are they deluded?
This is the same guy who used to charge Manchester United fans from abroad to 20 quid to be shown down Manchester.
Yeah,
we've got one on.
He's a class act, isn't he, that guy? I can't remember his name, but he's...
Stephen Howson.
Yeah,
I don't know him, but one of my mates is friends with him, does business with him. So, yeah, listen, let them sit there and cry. Cry.
Wasn't it one of their players was actually a drug cheat who actually played for their treble team?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
well,
don't go throwing
as in
glass houses.
To be clear, as in missing the test, not as in being caught with anything.
Well,
it's the real Ferdinand.
Yeah, he got a 6-month ban or something, didn't he?
Oh, you're talking about Ferdinand with his 9-month ban?
Yeah.
No, there was one of the other players. Well, it wasn't just Ferdinand; it was somebody else as well.
Let's be bigger and better than that. Though we don't have to.
Alan, you rang me up midweek, panicking, crying, having a meltdown because they keep calling us cheats.
That was last week.
When was it? It was 3 days ago.
You know what, though? I think one thing that's becoming pretty clear, if you actually, looking around YouTube,
don't switch accounts.
Social media, looking around social media, that's not
this
me.
Another 5-minute ban. Carry on.
That's quite clearly not me. And I think the tune's changing a bit. Actually, I think I'm seeing a lot more Arsenal fans being a lot more dignified about it than Liverpool fans. You know, that the only Arsenal fans I've known who know have actually congratulated me. No things about charge or anything else, and just said, "Well done."
It's the United fans that are very, very salty. And don't like it.
Yeah, United and
Arsenal
Liverpool.
fans you've been talking to.
You know, if you go on Twitter, I think you'll see now. You know, West Ham fans, Newcastle fans, fans of clubs in the fans of clubs in the lower leagues, and you're even seeing it with some Chelsea and Brighton fans now who are starting to say about United and Liverpool trying to fix the game. Everton fans, I mean, I guess they've always said it, but I think that actually the tide of public opinion in social media, I don't think it ever changed off social media. I think most proper non-social media fans are a lot more dignified about it, but I think it's starting to change a bit. And, I think people are starting to have a bit of a go at some of the nonsense and
I agree. It depends.
Starting to call a lot of those fans out for being salty. And
I think it depends, fans,
Rich. Yeah.
I think Rich is right. I think he is right, because I have seen some of the very salty videos, especially the likes of United, like what's he says, Goldbridge and stuff like that. A lot of their videos.
Oh, Goldbridge is a nightmare.
He's a nightmare. Fair play to him. He's done very successful for what he's done, but a lot of these salty videos, these salty videos are getting very few likes, let alone views, because Rich is right. People are starting to kind of get a bit bored of it now. People are starting to get a bit like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter about these 150 charges, because at the end of the day, City have done something where they've got the right manager, they've brought in the right players, and they've won it on the field. It doesn't matter about the money that's been spent, because United have spent money, Chelsea spent money, Liverpool have spent money, and none of them have done what City have done. We've won the treble.
And I was amazed on some of the threads about who you're going to be supporting in the Champions League final, even on Twitter, where people are, not the best. It only consistently seemed to be United and Liverpool, where every fan was saying we're supporting Inter Milan. I was seeing Chelsea fans, even Tottenham fans, Newcastle fans, Villa fans saying we'll be supporting City. And I think actually outside that kind of the big six fans and all hating each other, I actually think the groundswell of opinion is not favourable to City and their money, but it is that we are no better or worse than any of the other big clubs. And I think there's just as much ill feeling about the way United would throw money around, or Arsenal or Liverpool, as there is about City. The only difference being is that we're not being hypocritical about it. So a lot of fans are giving us less stick.
With that.
I don't mind, because I personally think...
Well, I do, Ross, because I watched some of the videos, mate, and it wasn't just United channels.
Yeah, I know mine, but we're talking not just channel chat. We're here. We're not talking about other channels. We're talking about...
I'm talking about general...
You're talking about the man in the street. The man in the street is very different to the men on social media and YouTube channels. Nobody really listens.
No. I'm not talking YouTube channels. I'm talking about the people who comment.
Yeah, you're talking about the men on the street sort of thing. Yeah,
the Twitters, yeah. But YouTube channels is a few hundred, people. I mean, it's not. That's not. And
not
they have
rich,
to.
Rich, they're not. We're
a few thousand people.
One of them's got 1 million. One of them's got 75,000.
Yeah. I'm not talking about the people who watch them. I'm talking about the people who do them. Now, Goldbridge is a classic. I mean, he's a Nottingham Forest fan copper who gave that up to create a character to do a show, which now makes him a massive living. And he says outrageous things because he wants every show he does to get clipped and argued with across social media. So he says something outrageous, and if 100,000 people get outraged and tweet it, that's how he makes his money. And it just cracks me up when, I saw a few very kind of reputable, older City fans who really should know getting absolutely outraged by Mark Goldbridge this week about history or something. But that's his living. He's there to make you outraged. Same with TalkSport. They are there to say whatever they need to say to get people angry and phoning up. And you will see Simon Jordan saying the most anti-City thing, but then the next week he'll be saying something massively pro-City, anti-Liverpool, because that's what they do. That's their living. And, that's Goldbridge's living. That's TalkSport's
listen,
living.
I'm going to be straight with you. I get the man on the street, has been very complimentary. TalkSport, you had Jim White did a whole show, and the first thing he did was, why did none of the commentators mention the 115 charges? It's disgraceful. And did a 3-hour show on it, slagging everyone off for not mentioning the charges. You had that idiot over at Anfield, wherever it's called, the Irish fellow, who blocked Manchester City on Twitter, said that he hated us, wasn't going to recognise anything we'd ever done. What an absolute tool he is. Couldn't find Anfield on a map with both hands and his best mate's hands, because never been to Anfield in his life. You've got Mark Goldfish, who sits in Mama's bedroom, never been to a game in his life, banging on, sat there in his fake Inter Milan shirt, going, I great. You've got them lot at Stretford Paddock doing that. West Ham fans, I've even seen Newcastle fans, Rich, on channels, giving it the big one. Jack Grealish is a disgrace. He shouldn't be getting this drunk. Blah, 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 blah.
I'd say 95% of Newcastle fans I see say anything on Twitter, as
Rich, they think they're challenging us next year. They're even some of them think they were getting Barella for 50 million quid.
There was a thread with about 1,000 replies to it on one of the Newcastle channels on Twitter, who he is supporting in the FA Cup final. There was not one Newcastle fan I saw saying United. Every single one.
No,
and a lot of them were saying, because they're real fans like us, they're not plastics. But I think there is a difference. Say the difference between that Scouse guy, whatever his name is, who in Ireland is, I think he's real. I think he's just a character. I think he's just a bit slightly mental. But Goldbridge, I reckon, is a smart businessman who formed a character. He's a Nottingham Forest fan.
He's playing a character.
He's decided, I want to earn some good money, and he has created this caricature, and he's almost taking the piss out of himself, as well as taking piss out of others. And to be fair, to go from nothing to what he's done, where he's now making a good living out of it, he's getting paid good money, not only to do his show, but to go on TalkSport and all this other stuff. You can't knock what he's done as a business-wise. He talks crap, but sorry.
The thing is, though,
YouTube, please ignore that last comment. He talks nonsense, but that's his job. And
Rich, if he was taken seriously, he would be on like Gary Neville and Jerry Carragher's. Well, he would be on the Sky Sports. Jamie Carragher.
You want about?
But
he would be on the what's the show they do?
He did. He turned it down. He turned it down because him and Ozzy's got his own show on TalkSport, mate. So of course people take him seriously.
No, as in like what I'm talking about is the character is what
TalkSport's bigger than the overlap, mate.
You're not getting one point, Martin. What I'm saying is that his character is perfect for the likes of TalkSport. But when they're talking properly about football on the overlap, that's proper, fan debate and proper fan discussion. Yeah. He's not going to go on there because he's not a real fan of
you have tie on it, so we've got fan debate.
Ty's got a
We've got our own version. We've got our own version here. Mr. Dan Power. I mean, he's
not a tie. He's actually ultra negative.
He's the he's a Notts County fan, and he there's nothing Alan likes more than going on social media to wind people up and draw people out, and that's what that's what. So I mean, it'd be perfect for like TalkSport. That's what they do, and
I think with Goldbridge, I think he started out as a character, but I think it went so far he couldn't then pull it back, and then you realise I'm making a ton of money out of this. So, hello, and the sad thing is, you get 1 million people who watch him, or millions of people. Same with AFTV. Some people tune in for the fun and the meltdowns and everything else. It's very much. I mean, I was listening to Lee Gunnar, who I respect actually as an Arsenal fan. He's quite actually level-headed on a lot of things he says, and even he was like, congratulate. A lot of people who are level-headed are congratulating. United, Liverpool, there are some Newcastle fans, whether we like it or not, who genuinely think, I was listening to one last night, some guy went, City won't like us because we'll be challenging them for next season. Like, what, you think you're clicking your fingers and in you coming off, you go to, it doesn't work that quick. You wish it did, but it isn't.
And even, to be honest, I've even had, you know, away from that social media bubble, I've had congratulatory messages from Scousers and United fans. You know,
I haven't. My missus haven't.
One of them, one of them a prominent Scouse journalist who I'd talked to in the past, who tweeted, you know, congratulations, well deserved, enjoy it. You know, best team run, and there are people out there who are dignified.
Richard, I've been. The only thing they've got left now is like Big Steve said, and it's true. They've only got bucket hats and 115 charges, because everything else they used to give us, we've done. We've achieved it,
and we've got good luck. We've got good looks, and we're going to get 114 points. That's all we need to say.
Anyway,
so let's not talk about shit, because that's
going to get dealt with.
Sorry, that's going to get dealt with in time when the lawyers decide that they want to have a chat with the Premier League. So exactly, Martin.
Because that was not what he said to me 3 days ago when he was having a meltdown.
And hopefully, the Premier League have got no evidence. That's why they're digging so much, and our lawyers can tie them up in knots and throw them out and put them in the bin. Let's just wait and see on that one. But you know, there's a lot of factors that our season changed after the World Cup, which he did, and I think one of the big ones, if anyone's played sport and sat in the changing rooms, was getting rid of the cancer out of the changing rooms in Mr. Cancelo. And when we got rid of him, we suddenly started playing, and we did. So, and it all changed from there. Changed from there.
Well, let's move on to our player of the season. Ozzy, let's start with you.
It's tough because, you know, the obvious candidate is Haaland. You know, the most goals scored in a Premier League season, the most goals, you know, in all competitions. Just what a phenomenon he has been. You know, I mean, we all thought he'd hit the ground running when we did our predictions in this at the beginning of the season.
Ozzy, can I ask you a quick question? Matt, can we have a with this player of the season? Can we? I think we should have a bit, to give you, to your point, Ozzy. We should probably have the best new player of the season, overall player of the year, the player who most changed the season. Because I think there are different things. I think this is what you're about to say, Ozzy. Is that in a way, with what Haaland's done, it's very, very hard for anyone to say not Haaland. But I do think we need to call out some of the things that changed our season, some of the players who've been the peak this season, but maybe didn't play enough games to be overall. So, let's have a bit more flexibility.
Yeah, I agree, Rich. And that's what I was about to kind of go into, really. Haaland is the obvious candidate. I think most of us were probably going to have to say Haaland. But like you said, Rich, I think one of the most brilliant players has been this season, has been John Stones. From him to go from centre back into this, moving into the midfield. I mean, not just into the midfield, but at times he was playing like a number 10. Just amazing. The transformation has been for him. A couple of seasons ago, there was a lot of people, even on channels we've been on, were saying John Stones needs to go. Not going to name names. I think we all felt that he probably could have got out the door at one stage. But for him to really knuckle down and actually say, no, I'm staying and I'm going to fight for my position. And now, Laporte can't get in this team. So, and Diaz was out for a lot of the season. So someone stepped up, and that man was Stones. And I think he deserves a lot of plaudits right now for what he's done. So for me, it's a very much Haaland as the new player coming in, John Stones for the consistency of the player. I think a special shout has to go out to Akanji, because I think for the price that he came in at and for the job that he has done, I think what more could you ask? Probably adapted quicker than most of the players that have come into a Pep system. So I think those are my kind of three, really. I mean, Rich is right. There could be more, really, because this has been an amazing season. We've won the treble, and a lot of these players have been phenomenal. I mean, we're talking about the likes of Mahrez, who could go, but he didn't particularly play very much towards the end of the season. But he, at times, like we couldn't have dropped him, for some games because he was playing amazingly well. The same for Foden. Foden was having a brilliant time. Jack Grealish, last season we were talking about him, as being this £100 million flop. And now he's come into this team, and he's been a mainstay. He's been amazing. Carl Walker for me is just the best right back in Europe, and a lot of people are not going to like that, but I think he is, and I think he needs the plaudits. Rodri, the best CDM in Europe. He's done amazingly well. We were worried because Calvin Phillips just couldn't get into this team and
I think Ozzy's just going through the whole squad here.
But Martin, this is the yeah, I know, Martin, but that's my point. Is because it feels like every player has stepped up this season, has contributed.
Yeah, contributed. I agree with. When I say player of the season, with me, I look at the whole season.
No, I know, Martin, and that's why I said, for me, really and truly, like the two mainstays for me has been Haaland and Stones. But I just feel like, as Rich said, you need to kind of give some shout outs to some of the other players because
I get that. Ozzy, and this interesting. Stones only just started over half our Premier League games.
Yeah.
So when I looked at it, I thought for player of the season, there was only 3 players who actually started, I think, more than 30 games for City and played something like 500 minutes more than any others. And that was interesting. Was Haaland, Rodri, and Ederson, and all 3 of those have been pretty much, when the league actually mattered, they pretty much were the 3 players who, partly due not having injuries and partly due to, I guess, their importance to the team, who started, who were the most. So when I looked at player of the year, I really thought it's got to be Rodri, Haaland, or Ederson. For me, Ederson, phenomenal at the end, but he had his moments during the season. So I really came down for the season as a whole, Haaland and Rodri. And I'm happy they both share it, because I think Haaland's the one in the history books. He's absolutely amazing. But I think Rodri has been the glue at the centre of everything in our team, for the season. Everything's gone through him. He's had to play. He probably would have played every game if it hadn't been for the fact he was allowed a bit of a rest once we'd won the league. Ironically, even though probably 2 of his poorer games of the season were actually the Champions League and the FA Cup, he still got a man of the match in the Champions League winning goal. Not sure I agreed with the man of the match decision, to be fair, but I think he's been absolutely key. But I think 2 players who I'll call out, not for the whole season, but really, or 3 players who I think really changed our season. One is Ruben Diaz. When he came back, and I've been someone in the past who would have played Laporte ahead of him as a footballer, as a passer of the ball. But when he came back, he changed the mentality, I think, of the side. I think he brought in a hunger to win, a defensive mentality, and a captain's role that I thought he did even more than he has in previous seasons. And I think without Diaz coming back, I'm not sure our season would have turned around. At about that time, ironically, the first couple of games, it was actually Rico Lewis who really changed Pep's formation. For the first couple of games, it wasn't Stones going into midfield, it was Rico Lewis doing that role. But then John Stones has come in and he has looked, like a Kimmich. He has looked like an absolute Rolls Royce of a midfielder, as well as being a centre back, and that has been phenomenal. So suddenly, him and Diaz have transformed the way we play and the way we were in defence. And I think the other call out I'd make for just for being the big game player and for really coming in when it's important is I thought Gundogan really stepped up, in the middle and the end of the season. I think he's done it before. I think he won us more than anyone. He won us the league in 19. I think more than anyone where we were having a bit of a rough patch in, was it 2020, 21? He came in and got all those goals. And I think Gundogan again, when it really mattered, came in and I think he got 2 goals 3 times. Brilliance in the FA Cup. Brilliance in the last couple of Premier League games that won us the league. So I think he needs a call out too. But Rodri and Haaland overall, because they're the two players who've played, a lot more football than most of the others I've mentioned.
And that's what we're saying, Martin, that I think it's difficult to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, Martin, that going round, just to our point of, it's difficult to call 1 or 2 players out when there have been.
No, but I think there's a lot of recency bias going on.
What, Rodri and Haaland? What's recency about that? No, I said I gave him credit for his second half of the season.
To me,
that isn't Haaland and Rodri. No, you're putting words in my mouth. I said Haaland and Rodri player of the season. I said I'm giving credit to Gundogan for a great second half of the season. Now, that is the definition of recency bias.
No, recency bias is when people say, because I've heard Gundogan player of the season. This guy, but Gundogan's only come to the party in the last 2 months. Like he always does. You can't then just go player of the season.
No one said that.
When I look at
Rodri or Haaland,
let me speak.
He said Rodri and Haaland.
When I look at a player of the season, I look at someone. This is just my opinion. I look at have they improved? Where were they at last season? Where were they at the start of the season? And have they been consistently good throughout the whole season? Otherwise, you can pick Edison. But before Christmas, people were sacrificing Edison and chucking him on the bonfire and see you later with him. Everyone was done with him. Put Ortega in. Ortega's better. Blah, 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 blah.
None of us were slagging off Edison. We all stuck up for him. Some of the Twitter fans, yeah, but I don't think anyone on here was saying anything much about
to me, there is only one winner. I mean, it's like people said Akanji. Akanji has had a great 2 months of the season again. Before that, I thought he was having a couple of nightmares. Especially at centre-back.
I think that's a bit unfair. I think Akanji came in.
Not unfair. Centre-back, in my opinion, he was garbage.
I think he came in
when he got moved out.
I think he came in, filled up every hole in the team we had, and did a pretty good job. For the money he cost, he was an exceptional signing. Absolutely exceptional signing. He's not in an argument for player of the year because he's not close to Ake, Stones or Diaz in my view.
Rich is going to have his agenda now with Alvarez, so let him get on with it.
Not having an agenda.
He's giving Alvarez player of the year.
Analysing the games and not just. To me, it's Nathan Ake. I think he's been the most consistent player all season. I think he's been the most improved player all season. He's been so damn important to us all season. Him and Haaland and Rodri, for me, should have been the top 3. I think Rodri's been exceptional. Sorry, they're listening to their own juice and I don't know what they need to go and look at the eye test again.
But Martin, do you know how many games Nathan Ake started?
No, you're going to tell me, Rich.
I think he started 22 games for City in the season.
Cool.
So that's Nathan Ake. Didn't he start about 20? He's missed.
Rich, on the City website, who was in the top 3?
Was it Ake, Rodri, and Haaland? I'd imagine. I don't know.
Oh, that's Rodri, KDB, and Haaland. Sorry, KDB, Haaland, Ake.
Can I have my say? Because I'm not
which is nonsense. The idea that KDB had a better season than Rodri.
He
hasn't watched the game.
Richard, shut up. Right. I personally think through the season consistently, you probably have to give it to Haaland because that's who's going to get the award because of the goals. But if you're asking me, it's between three people: Haaland, Ake, and Rodri. I think Ake's been absolutely superb all season, and he's played 42 games in all competitions. Okay, and he's been absolutely superb. He got injured at the end of the season, which didn't help him, but he's been absolutely superb all season. Rodri has had to play all season because he hasn't had someone to compete for his position, unfortunately. And he's very rarely let us down. He didn't play well in the final. God knows why he got the man of the match award, because I thought first half he was awful. Even he admitted it on TV, to be fair. I just think if you're looking at consistency from the start of the season to the end and not impacting, Ake for me has been the person for me all day long. All day long, he's been fantastic.
Alan, I'm just surprised you and Martin have agreed upon something. That's
I was just thinking. You've heard me say it before. You've heard me say it before about Ake, though. I've said it all season. He's been superb, and he has.
Yeah, there's no denying that, Alan. He has been.
Yeah. It's been consistent.
I just find it interesting. I just find it interesting that I don't think he's played much more than Diaz or Stones. And if you ask me honestly, I'd say their impact has been miles bigger than Ake's. Ake's been solid. Diaz and Stones have been phenomenal. Yeah.
Who has made the biggest difference and changed our mentality and changed the way we play? It's been Diaz all day long. Stones has had he had an injury-full season, but when he's played well, and he has played well. So
but if he's played as much as Ake has, how can you argue Ake's better than Stones? I just ask him. I know it's a game of opinions. Ake's been solid defendedly. Stones has been phenomenal in a far harder role. And
I know
changing the whole team plays.
I'm not arguing which is the harder role, mate.
It's his opinion. As your opinion.
I'm respectfully.
You're arguing the toss with
it's
him.
Interesting. But we should. Arguing is good because I find it interesting.
Arguing with you,
he loves arguing. He does.
I'm always arguing with Alan.
The thing is,
he told me Jimmy Anderson was finished 5 years ago, and I said no.
The best right back in Europe.
We'll have a chat about Bowen later.
But it's his opinion.
That's my opinion, and I don't care. I'm right about that, but no, but
you're not right about it. Your opinion is because that's why Walker's half the season getting splinters in his ass.
Interestingly, did you see that Rodri got the Player of the Year for the Champions League? UEFA gave him, and this shows the bias in English football. In the UEFA Team of the Year, there were 7 City players, right? 7 City players picked for their team of the overall performance of the Champions League. In the Premier League Team of the Year, what were there about 2 City players? So I find it interesting that when we compared to Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, we can get 7 players in the side, but when we're compared to some of the Premier League teams, we can only get 2.
See, the problem is when you do a player of the season, it becomes subjective to that person.
I saw the cigar thing on Instagram. Richard.
People like Kevin De Bruyne for me should have been anywhere near the top 3 on the website.
Agree.
But he's there because people look at the assists and they look at when you get a moment in games. Like the Gundogan thing. Gundogan has been world class for 2 months. Before that, I never heard anyone talking about Gundogan being world class. So it's very different to what you start remembering moments, you start remembering the build-up, and you forget everything that's gone on the 6 months previous.
Our treble was better than yours.
So you've got to be you got to look at it. I'm just looking at it from a whole season perspective. Like Ozzy mentioned Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker spent half the season on his backside sitting on a bench. So, and Pep called him out, if you remember 3 months ago, because we were all shocked he got back in the team. Because you had Akanji and you had Ake who were both doing it, or Stones was out the right back role.
Yeah, but
So-
Martin, you forget he was out of the team for a reason that wasn't to do with football. So
I understand that, Ozzy, but Pep also came out publicly and said he was crap in the position he was asked to be doing. Couldn't do it.
But he said the same thing about Kevin De
So-
Bruyne. So it was a kick up the arse to get
Not
these
like
players.
that. Not publicly like that, Ozzy. He didn't.
It was public against Kevin De
No,
Bruyne,
he didn't.
Martin.
No,
Yes,
he
he did. He did.
You find me the quotes, Ozzy.
All right, I'll find
You find me the quotes.
All right. Anyway, I think we all can agree it has to be Haaland. It just has to be. That's the end of it. It doesn't matter about Aki. Doesn't matter about Rodri. Doesn't matter about Gundo. What actually
See,
counts
well,
is
Alex here knows nothing about football with his comment there about Plodry, doesn't do anything at CDM.
I think he's trying to wind you up. I think he's
I
trying to
hope
wind you
so.
up there.
Not trying to wind me up.
He'd be trying to wind me up, as you know, as
Anyway,
Rodri from the
Good
Valley's
evening,
number one
Pat.
fan.
How are you?
Hello, everyone. Top of the world, top of Europe at least, mate. But yeah, we're on the treble. Did you know?
I know,
You
he's still,
look like
what
you
about the
know-
Manchester- what
You
about
still
the Manchester-
partying?
he's still partying.
He's still
Yeah,
partying.
still going.
He's drinking. Oh God. Yeah. Whereabouts in Manchester are you, mate?
In the city centre.
In the city centre. Oh, he's partying. He's been drinking non-stop.
Actually, to be honest with you, I just came back from a curry and ate something with nuts in it. So I needed. That's why I haven't been on air for an hour. I had to make sure I was in good health before I came on.
Did you go to the Curry Mile or did you go?
No, I went to this really good place called Indian Plaza in Audenshaw, mate. It was fantastic. Really, really good.
What did you have? Did you have Vinda or a pal?
No, I had the garlic chicken body.
Nice.
Really good.
Nice. I miss a good Indian restaurant in England. They're far better there than they are here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I miss them.
Anyway, you can see Gordon Ramsay just above me. Martin, you're okay, mate?
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Good.
Mate, I've been following you on Instagram, mate. You look like you've had a good time.
Oh, it's been a tremendous few days, yeah. I
Anyway.
probably agree with the masses saying that just, getting around Istanbul was a bit of a pain in the ass, but besides that, everything was was as good as I expected it to be and some more. It was an amazing few days.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear more about Pat.
Oh, that Friday night, if there's anybody in the chat who was at Nevazade Street on Friday night, we'll never forget that for the rest of our lives. That was just spectacular. Just the turnout of blues, and just the atmosphere that was created, and it wasn't necessarily about like, you had to be in the hot spot, where everything was going off. It was like, no, everything went off. Like the whole street went off. It was just the most spectacular thing I've ever bloody seen. It was insane.
I think, Pat, what we'll have to do is we'll have to get you on, like, to do your own show about the actual final and about your experience, mate. Because I think a lot of us would like to hear about it. I don't think we've got time tonight to do it, but I think we should get you on and do your own kind of blog, basically, about your experience of the final.
Yeah, like this
incredible.
Istanbul Chronicles or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bloody hell.
So you're player of the year,
Putting that
Pat.
together.
Yeah. Pat, you're
Just
player
while
of the
we're all
year.
promising
Before we go
stuff
into
out to
transfers, Pat can do all that. He's he'll get his main man Danny to do it for him. Pat, player of the year. Who did you go for?
I haven't made a final
so we can all argue.
I haven't made a final decision yet, but my three candidates would be Haaland, Rodri, and Nathan Ake.
Correct. Spot on.
Haaland probably just takes pole position at the moment, just because obviously he's a record breaker, and to do what we did in his first season is remarkable. But there are some players that have done things that just show that it's not necessarily all about goals. It's what you do leading up to them. And for Nathan Ake to go from possibly being just a selling piece to Chelsea in the hopes that we may be able to get somebody else, to now becoming probably our second choice well, probably say your second choice centre back to an extent, because if you can call John Stones our first choice centre back, but he wasn't really a centre back, so he deserves a special mention. Rodri, because he put in a shift every time he played 90 minutes and put in a shift all season long, so he deserves a special mention. And just as an honourable mention, I'll probably put Emmanuel Akanji in there. Who thought we'd get what we got out of him in a season for 15 million quid? And of course, he'll fly under the radar because there'll be other clubs that'll say, "Oh, we had a better signing" or something like that. And it's like, mate, this guy put in a shift that was better than a Harry Maguire, and he cost a fifth of a Harry Maguire.
Yeah, and he filled four positions. I think that was the amazing thing.
Yeah. And everybody put all this criticism saying, "Oh, he's only a high line defender and that," and yet he was basically a one-man backline.
Yeah, it's interesting because we rarely do those knee-jerk. It's probably about the first time we've done a real knee-jerk signing like that. You know, in many years. You know, we under Pep, even when like Cancelo goes, we don't act. And that was a knee-jerk signing, quite late, unexpected, off the radar by City. But I don't know that we'd have won any of the things we won if we hadn't made that knee-jerk signing, because we had quite a lot of injuries not long after he signed. And that signing could have made the difference to the season.
Yeah. It was
not that I think he's as good. I don't think he's as good over the season as, you know, some of the other defenders we mentioned. But I think brilliant move by Chiquita and Pep to recognise that need and act.
Yeah, no, definitely. Which led on to Martin's, second half prediction that he's lauded all of us over.
That's all down to Akanji. Martin, do we get sponsored by Costa? No, okay.
If the show was going to have a sponsor, who would be the most suitable one?
Costa.
Yeah.
He's on every week.
Greg.
VB.
Starbucks, isn't it, as well, Martin?
Are we getting back to the schedule?
I've never seen Starbucks. I've only ever seen Costa. Are you getting us back onto the transfer news, Martin?
I'm just waiting. Anyone else want to hijack?
Go on, Martin. Get us onto the transfer news then, mate.
It's not often Dame Edna comes in off a bender, Martin. You've got to make the most of it.
Anyway. So that's the end of season review. We're going to move on to, obviously, I know it's weird, but obviously the fixtures have now come out. Manchester City fixtures came out this morning. We do kick off live on Sky. We are the Friday night game, 11th of August, taking on Vincent Kompany's Burnley. I'm just going to give you some key dates for going through everything. Our first home game is Newcastle United on the 19th. Obviously, all these dates are subject to change for TV purposes. Then we play Sheffield United away. So the first three games, we are away twice and we play two promoted teams away, which is always dangerous. We then have a decent September. Fulham at home, West Ham away, Forest at home, Wolves away. We then go into an October, which is could be quite tricky. 3 games so far, away at Arsenal, home to Brighton, away is our first derby on the 28th, away at the Swamp. And the next time, we've got another derby on, where has it gone? It's gone out now. March the 2nd, we play United at home. The Liverpool fixtures are at Anfield on the 9th of March, and we play them at the Etihad on the 25th of November. And we finish the season at home to West Ham United on the 19th of May. Now, things are going to change a lot because obviously in that December time, we have got to travel, in August time, on the 16th, we're going to be travelling over. We've got the Community Shield, Arsenal, down at Wembley. We've then got the Super Cup away in Athens to Seville. And then in December, we obviously have to go and play in Saudi Arabia. Or is it Abu Dhabi? Saudi Arabia, somewhere like that.
Saudi.
Dubai,
Saudi.
wherever it is.
Saudi.
To play the World Club Championship, or whatever you want to call it, that I have no interest in whatsoever. I won't lie. But hey,
Hang on. You had absolutely no interest in the Champions League, and someone was crying his eyes out when we won the Champions League last week, like I was.
Did you watch the full stream, Alan?
I didn't watch the full stream, but I watched it.
I wasn't crying over the Champions League.
Well, I cried when we won it.
I was crying over the journey, mate.
Yeah. From
Big
40
difference.
Years, 40 years.
Crying over everything.
Big difference.
Yeah. I did shed a tear, I must admit.
Obviously, December is going to be very different because some of them games, we've got Tottenham at home, Villa away, Luton away, Palace at home, Brentford at home, Everton away, Sheffield United at home. Those are going to be very different because we've got this Super Cup thing that we will go into the semi-final stage of, I understand. Yeah, against the candlestick makers, even some team from Auckland in New Zealand is in it as well. So yeah, it's we're going to be all over the place this year. So fixture congestions, we're in 7 trophies, 7 competitions this year. What does everyone make of the fixtures? Ozzy, start with you. What do you think of the fixtures?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Mike, subject's changed with a few of them, but it doesn't look too bad, to be honest. I think, the big thing that we're not going to have to deal with is obviously the break for a World Cup, which is, I think, is going to be feel a bit weird now. We all like that break, really, didn't we? We got to have a break on this channel for the World Cup, and now we're not going to have that. We're just going to have to go solidly on. But no, it's not a bad fixture list, I think, in all honesty. I think the games are kind of well spread out at the moment. There's no kind of big games are all clumped together, like, the top 6, like I felt like it was last season. I felt like we played a lot of kind of the big sides all at once. And it doesn't seem to be that this season coming.
Well, March is like that.
March is a little bit like that, but not compared to, I think, how it was this season, though, Rich. Do you know what I mean? Where I felt like we were playing a lot of the big teams quite early, and
it's made for us, isn't it?
March is
great for us, though. We've got an easy finish and an easy start relative. We've got our hardest games in March, which is normally when we peak. In that March is hard, but that's normally when we're in our form and our big run. So I think the fixtures have been pretty kind to us. The only thing I don't know, and this is probably the biggest issue, is when we get into the big Champions League games, are we going to be playing away before and after somewhere far away? Because what will make the most difference to us with our fixtures is if we're playing Real Madrid on a Tuesday, are we away at, Newcastle on the Saturday before? Are we then, or are we away somewhere afterwards? Because obviously, I think that makes a big difference to who we can play and how strong we are. So I think the fixtures look kind Premier League wise, but when you overlay the Champions League, that is when you really know, have they been kind or not? Because what you don't want is, United away, Real Madrid, Newcastle in 7 days, Newcastle away in 7 days, something like that.
I also think it depends on kind of what some of the other teams do, really, like the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool, whether they can get back to kind of challenging for the top 4 spots, whether Newcastle can hold their nerve and actually kind of do well, some sort of in the Champions League and continue to kind of be in that top 4 race. And then you look at the other teams like Brighton, who are going to try and do their best to also kind of fight for getting in those positions, because some people may laugh at that, but why not? Because they did extraordinarily well towards the end of the season. So you've got to look at them as a club that are going to cause a lot of people problems, including ourselves. So, Pat,
Martin, can you read back what the first 5 fixtures are for the Premier League season? So we've got Burnley away, Newcastle
away.
home, Sheffield away. What were the next two?
Fulham at home, West Ham away.
Okay. So most seasons we always go in. There's always at least one or two fixtures we talk about in the first five that are like, I'd rather have that now at the start of the season than have it at the back end in, say, March, April, May. Maybe West Ham away, but we played them in the first game of last season anyway. So I think maybe getting one match out of the way against Newcastle is good, although I'd rather it be away than be at home. With regards to the Club World Cup, and I don't know if anybody has thought about this, but do you see that there is some sort of a correlation between going to Saudi Arabia for these, what they're talking about 5 or 6 days to play these potential 2 matches? Does anybody see a correlation to what we just did 6 months ago? We're traveling to the Middle East. Majority of our squad's going to go there, if not all of them. We've got to play a bunch of matches and then worry about any potential suspended fixtures or readjusted fixtures that may have to be played at some point down the road. So the question then for me becomes, when are these potential fixtures going to be relocated to? Are they going to be relocated to March and April when we're deep in the middle of a title push? Of course, I have every confidence in the team to be successful because they did it all. They've done it all for the last 6 months. So I'm interested to see where those fixtures go. We've also got to factor into, obviously, I believe when we start getting towards the deep end of European competition, we play, I think, Liverpool away and Brighton away in sort of like around about March, April, I believe, too. Both those teams could be competing for the Europa League as well, too. So we don't know, to what extent those games are going to be readjusted or if they're moved. And if that's in relation to other competitions we might be in as well, too. So it's an interesting fixture list. I'm not really too concerned. I'm not really too upset about anything at a particular time. The only question is how well do we come out of the blocks next season? Because I feel like there might be a little bit of a potential honeymoon/hangover period for the first few weeks in that. But as we all see, we always have that one little blip in sort of like September, October, and then that's when we really start hitting our stride all the way through to the new year.
Alan?
I just think we're playing promoted teams at the start always proves to be a banana scheme because if we're not up to speed, which we haven't been sometimes at the start of the seasons when Pep gives all the players an extra week than anybody else, which happened against Tottenham a few years ago. I just think that the start of the season will be tricky. Do anyone know when the Champions League starts? Is it September?
It's like early September.
Yeah,
I think
this is what Muddy Duck's saying, and he sent me an email about this earlier. You got to look at the bigger picture of it. The Champions League round of 16, then you got Chelsea, you got Bournemouth, EFL Cup final, the FA Cup round of 5. Then we've got United after that. Then the Champions League round of 16, second leg. Then you've got Liverpool. Then you've got Brighton. Then you've got the FA Cup quarterfinals. Then the international break. And then we go into Arsenal. It's not so much looking at just Premier League fixtures. It's looking at what's in between each one.
Yeah.
Where we're coming out of, where we're going to be. And this is the great thing it's the thing we have to be careful of. It's not so much looking at each fixture and going, that's easy, that's great, that's all right. It's what's all in between and where we're going to be at that time. Plus, we've got Super Cup and a Club World Cup to fit in all that as well at the same time.
It's going to be a tough start, but obviously when we get into the season, we'll obviously work things out. But I found looking at the start of the season with the 2 promoted clubs, because they're always on fire right at the start, promoted clubs, which they give 150% in everything they do. And then obviously when they get injuries and suspensions later on, that's when they tend to struggle. So it's going to be a difficult start because I think there's a potential for Pep and the players to have an extra few days or an extra week more than anybody else rest. Because I just think that's what's going to happen, to be honest with you.
And don't forget, Alan, Jack Grealish will need to sober up by then.
Well, I can't believe exactly England's going to play. I think we're playing Malta. I don't think he's going to play. But I think Mr. Foden will probably play that game.
He's been fine today in training by looks of things.
Yeah, well, it depends how he pulls up, but mate, I'm letting we just won the treble. Let him have a few days on the bender.
I'm just joking. So
yeah, fair enough. He's entitled to go on. You see Patrick there; he's been on a complete bender.
I already told Jack, me and him having a few sakes in Japan for pre-season.
Yeah, exactly. So
we're
there
going
you
to
go.
look at. We could have a total. If we go deep in them all, you're looking at 67 games across 7 competitions. So you're looking at all of the fixtures in their entirety. You can't. Because this is what Muddy Duck sent me earlier is about the email. So they can't help but feel we've been. People do think we've been quite stitched up in a way with some of these fixtures.
I reckon the marketing team's looking at the Magnificent Seven already. They're probably already planning, when we win all 7, how they're going to communicate it. The Magnificent Seven. Do you reckon?
Yeah, that isn't reality, though, is it, Rich?
That's what Pep wants. It's what he did at Barcelona, isn't it? He won 6 or 7 in one season, and he'll want to do that again.
See, that's my worry, though, Rich. When we start, this is my worry. If you win a treble, right, we've got to win the quad. Then we've got to go to the next thing. That's great.
You're going to be the quad father. You know you are.
No, but it's not reality. To me, we just win the Premier League next year. I'm an happy bunny. I don't want to.
I want that Carabao back. I want that Carabao back.
I'm up. This is.
I want to hold the Champions League. Retain
next year, I want the quad, and I want this, and I want that.
I just want the Carabao that 4 league titles in a row.
It's anyway. And then you hear, obviously, which takes us nicely into the next stage. All the transfer rumours that are coming out, because we've gone from nothing was happening to it all kicked off today. And I'll just go through the news that has come out today and yesterday. So Riyad Mahrez has now had the official offer from Al Hilal, is it? In Saudi Arabia. They're now in the middle with City discuss a fee. There was then the news of Olivier Borges is subject to an offer from Nottingham Forest of a bid of around £11 million. The club have also apparently given permission for Cole Palmer now to go on loan. There are a number of top-flight Bundesliga clubs, including RB Leipzig, looking at him. And he's very interested.
With the Bundesliga, is he?
Apparently, he's very, very intrigued about going to the Bundesliga. Because of the way they develop their youngsters and things like that.
I think
you've got Kyle Walker, apparently. Yeah. The club are open to allow Kyle Walker to leave. There is interest from Sheffield United to go home because he's got apparently a 3-year offer on the table from Sheffield United. And also Aston Villa are very interested in him as well.
West Ham.
Are they allowed to spend? Is Sheffield United allowed to spend? Because one of their problems was they got
banned. Yeah, they're allowed now. They said they're allowed.
They are, okay. So I was going to say, we won't.
That was the only question mark I had on that one.
Then obviously you've got your Bernardo, you've got your Gundogan, which still has not been agreed, but when everyone was jumping about Gundogan staying, it actually looks like he might be on his way out now. Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish was begging him to stay on the tram the other day and tell him not to leave. He's obviously got big interest away from PSG. And apparently also the thing came out today is they are open to allowing Calvin Phillips to leave as well with the right offer to come in, which then takes us nicely to the news about Declan Rice came out today from David Ornstein and Sam Lee and a few others. By the way, Sam Lee was the one who brought the news about Phillips and Walker and all that earlier on today. But yeah, City apparently are readying a bid for Declan Rice. I did mention obviously earlier on. I've got it all written down. I've been making notes all day about all the rumours that have been going on. Stuart Pearce mentioned on Talk Sport earlier a couple of days ago about the Declan Rice stuff. Don't rule out another team from Manchester. And then Sam Allardyce was doing a podcast with Tim Sherwood and Natalie Pike of Manchester City. And Tim Sherwood went, nope, it's going to Arsenal. And then Sam Allardyce went, nope, I've heard Manchester City with somebody going the other way within the deal. So who wants to pick around all those bones?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to.
The only thing that concerns me in that lot there, I don't mind the Declan Rice story with Phillips going the other way, which is probably what we're talking about. Is Walker disappearing? Do we get a replacement for him? If so, who do we target? Because I think we're going to have to target a fullback without any shadow of a doubt. And there's only one person I want, and it's debatable whether we can get him out of Chelsea. That's Reece Jones. But I don't know what the situation is there. To be honest with you, if Walker decides to go home, Walker decides to go home.
If we're going to play the way, if we're going to play with the Stones role the way we've been playing, then the truth is Lewis, Stones, Akanji. I mean, we've got lots of options playing that role. I think Guardiola comes in.
Rich, sorry, jump in. Money Duck, share it away because I'm having issues getting on the email at the minute, mate. That's what I was about to type in. So share it away if you want, mate. I'm having issues getting into the emails at the minute. Sorry, go on, Rich.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, ultimately, we're talking about 6 players who might leave who have been, in and around that first team squad. But all of them, whether Laporte and Cancelo going, well, they're almost gone in that they haven't really played much at all. Gundogan, Mahrez, Walker could all do another season, 2 seasons, but all of them are well into their 30s now, and ultimately they're going to have to be replaced, if not this year, next year, or the year after. I've always had the view that I wanted Gundogan's replacement to come in before Gundogan left, so that there's a year of double coverage. But if you're Gundogan now, winning the treble, I think, made some of them far more likely to go, because they're going having achieved everything they wanted to achieve. So I kind of felt, had we lost, Gundogan would have stayed, and had we won, far more likely he goes. Mahrez, again, he's going to be gone in a year or 2, and if a club comes in from Saudi, then we get a fee which we wouldn't get otherwise, because with his wages and age, it's unlikely he'd be paid for. So I think some of these decisions, if they do go, it's probably that, we're just making a call that we'll do this now rather than in 12 months, because it was going to happen anyway. The one exception to that, who could be playing another 5 years, is Bernardo. And, interestingly, the story is he's not that keen on Paris. He's really wants to go to Spain, but there is not an offer from Spain on the table. And apparently Paris have been, offering us left, right, and centre to try and get Bernardo because they're desperate. But he wants Spain. He wants to be closer to home. He wants the sunshine. He wants that lifestyle.
Well, he won't sign a new contract, Rich.
Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting one. Whether that could go any direction. He could go to Paris and we get someone in exchange. He could decide, I'm going to play out 2 years, get a free transfer, and go back to Spain at 31.
Will City allow that, Rich? Does it make business sense? Because let's take the sentimental hat off here.
It doesn't, but he can try. He holds the power in that. Ultimately, Paris can offer 80 million. If he doesn't want to sign for them, there's not that much.
How long has he got left on his contract, Rich?
2 years.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So let him hopefully he can play next year, and then let him go for minimal money. Yeah. Year after.
It's like
if someone comes into him, though, that's the big thing. If nobody apart from PSG comes in for him and he doesn't want to go, then there's nothing City can do. They'll just have to keep him and try and see what happens the year after. And he has a year left of his contract, which means he goes for peanuts.
Yeah. We're going to see this.
I think he's made up. Yeah, guys. I think with Bernardo, he's made up his mind where he wants to go, and he's not going to compromise anything until he gets to go where he wants to go. Hence why he's still able to put in 110% effort every time he plays for us. He plays like a man who's just renewed his contracts most games this season. Whether obviously the idea of him leaving on a free does not sound nice one bit, but if it came down to it, if it came down to 2 more years of Bernardo Silva going on a free rather than leaving some club now at a price that is well undervalued to what we think and what the club thinks he is, then I'm kind of okay with that.
I'd rather.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends what you can get. The story this year is going to be all. It's going to be all Mbappe in terms of that 1 year left. Paris. He's quite happy to sit in Paris for another year and go on a free because Paris want 100 million for him or whatever for 1 year. If he goes on a free, he'll get that 100 million. And so I think for someone like Bernardo, if he wants to go, but he doesn't want to just go anywhere for the sake of it, then he can sit still.
Everyone's going mad here in the comments. Can I just say, by the way,
he can go on a free.
The only thing I'd say before we carry on, we lost Aguero, we lost David Silva, we lost Vincent Kompany, we lost Zaba, we won the treble. It's not hit the panic buttons because everyone's out the door.
Do you know what, though, Mike? I slightly disagree with you in some respects because, yes, you're right, but also I think you're wrong because I think if we were to lose so many big players all at once, for me, you are losing some.
They're going to replace him, though.
No.
They're not just going to not replace him.
But we'll lose three. That's it.
Let me just have a point. If we were to lose all of those players, okay, it's still going to affect the team because, for one, you are losing a lot of captains from that team. Walker's a captain. Gundo's a captain. Laporte has been a big say. You are losing a lot of players who know the system, are well balanced for this team. If you bring in a new load of players, and I'm sure City would, but then they've got to get used to the system. And we know that a lot of players who come into this team, it takes them time to settle. So for me, that could have a massive impact.
How do you refresh though, then, Ozza?
No, because you refresh a few players at a time. That is the way you do it. You don't do it all.
But we kind of can't. I get what you're saying, but we can't because Gundo's at the end of his contract. Bernardo's only got 2 years left. Laporte isn't playing, doesn't want to be here anymore.
The thing is, though, Mark, with Laporte, we've heard no rumours about anyone coming in for him. He's still got 3 years left on his deal.
Laporte's going to be gone.
Walker. The thing with Walker that's come out is because I'm sure Sheffield United, it makes sense because he has a year left on his deal. He'll more likely go next year on a free back to Sheffield United.
Yeah. And he said he wants to. He said he wants to.
Bernardo, free. We're not a charity.
No, Martin,
not every player can go out the door on a free. We're a business.
No, they can't, Martin. But at the same time, we have let players go when they've done a massive service for the club.
You're doing sentimental stuff again.
It is sentimental, but it's also...
Well, we're not sentimental.
No, but Martin, it also makes business sense and
makes no business sense. Sorry, I disagree on that.
Well, I'm sure you do, Martin, but let me finish. I don't think you can lose 6 players from the team in one season. I just don't think you can do it. I don't think...
How many we lose last season?
3.
Did we?
We lost Sterling. We lost
Jesus,
Sterling, and
Zinchenko. Are you telling me those were 3 big players for us? The likes of Walker,
lost Cancelo as well in January.
Yeah, he had to go. He was a cancer,
and that's halfway through the season, Martin. So, and we had players already had come in like Akanji, we talked about today.
Clay, you don't like people disagreeing with you on this, so
no. But all I've said is that I think if you lose so many players in your system, some big players who are used to the system, and you bring in a load of players to replace them, it'll take them time to get used to it. It's new players coming in, and you've lost that overall experience. Not have a transition.
So I mean, then some point we're going to have to have a transitional season.
Yeah,
we're going to have to.
Yeah, but you do in small increments, though, don't you, Martin?
No, because they're all at the wrong age for small increments. Walker, Gundo, you've got Mahrez, they're all 32, 33. KDB's getting up there. We can't do small increments, or you're into a Liverpool situation where you need 4 players at one go.
but you can do it smartly, Martin. You can do it a few players at a time, which is what we've done over the last few seasons, where a few players have left and a few more players have come in. That is how you do it. So you're not spending ridiculous amounts of money like Chelsea. And this is my point, is look what Chelsea did. They got a load of new players coming in that didn't know their system, that struggled. And that is something that I fear that could happen with City. Not to that extreme, but I personally think that if you lose so many players in certain key positions, I'm sorry, but you've got the likes of Bernardo Silva, the likes of Gundo, the likes of Walker, who have still got a City career as far as I'm concerned, who could still keep playing. Maybe not as many games as for Gundo, but Bernardo Silva, yes.
This is the problem. I know what you're saying. I get what you're totally saying. What I'm trying to say is, though, it's not just the plays. This is what I've always said, is that tail wagging the dog or the dog wagging the tail? Which one are we doing here? They all work for Manchester City, not the other way around. They work for us or for the club. And the point I'm trying to make is you've got to be very careful how you do it. We've allowed ourselves to go in with 32. They've only got a year left in his contract. The news about Cal came out because apparently he wasn't happy with his game time.
He played plenty of game time. It was more the final that he was a little bit more upset about.
I know, but he's upset about it. So the point is, you know, they might not offer him a new contract. They can't allow everyone out on a free.
I didn't say everyone out on a free.
We still got to follow the guidelines. Can't let everyone out. We've got to get fees in for some people. So with Walker, it's you either let him go for free or you get the fee this year. Same with Bernardo. Because we've allowed it to run down. There's only it's like Sterling. There's only so far you can push it before you go fee time. That's all I'm saying. I agree with what you're saying, but we've kind of done this in a way anyway by putting them into this situation.
Yeah, and that's down to the club's decisions, Martin. Do you know what I mean? We haven't refreshed the midfield in quite a while. You know, we brought Phillips in, hasn't worked. You know, so it's looking like we're going to have a Phillips replacement, whether that's Rice or somebody else like Kovacic. You know, wingers, whether it's a natural winger we've been talking about, but if Mahrez goes, you need to have someone out coming in for his position. You know, there's the left back situation which we keep talking about. There's Laporte if he goes. There's so many moving. Yeah, how many players are realistically?
Apparently, we're looking for two. We're looking for two wide attackers.
Yeah,
because you know everything coming from the clubs. If Mahrez goes, Palmer goes, and Foden's going into midfield, so that leaves us with Grealish and I guess Alvarez. Yeah, Grealish out. Yeah, McAtee might replace Palmer. You know, ultimately that still leaves two vacancies if Foden goes into midfield and Mahrez goes. So I think, you know, we are going to need to sign we all sign or replace quite a few players this summer. But I think, you know, it's inevitable. When you've got players like Mahrez, Gundogan, Walker, who are all 32 plus, 32, 33, 34, I think in one case, you know, Mother Nature means they've got to be replaced. So, you know, in some ways, there's going to be pain when they go, but, you know, rip the bandage off and do it now is probably, you know, what City are thinking.
Well, that was the other one I was thinking of. Thank you very much for that, mate. Vernon did. No, look, Ozzy, I get what you're saying. I get it. It's just we've kind of got into this situation ourselves a little bit, and it is what it is, really. You know, it was only last season on here we talked about it was going to be a two-step transition. Last season was kind of the start, and then we were going to complete a little bit this year. Maybe it goes into 3 windows. I don't know.
But we didn't see the likes of Mahrez and Walker really leaving, though, did we? Because, you know, the offer for Mahrez has kind of come out of the blue in some respects. Walker, really, I think he's still very much up in the air. You know, he will definitely leave. I think the likes of Gundo and Bernardo are the most likely to actually leave this summer. Laporte is a kind of up in the air because we've heard nothing about anyone coming in for him. You know, so as much as I think, yes, he's probably going to go, but where? there's just been nothing around
Going
him.
to lose one of the assistant managers, by the way.
Yeah, Maresca's going to Leicester.
Yeah.
All change
every year, though. We pretty much lose an assistant to go and manage someone else every year,
Yeah.
don't we? I mean,
and some of them come back. Maresca's
whoever's Pep's number 2 just seems to go and get a top job the next year, and then, you know, I mean, I think we've just got to look at it as exciting. With, you know, it's, you know, we've got to the absolute pinnacle, and now we've got a bit of a rebuild.
It's a new chapter, guys. It doesn't
exciting
matter
young players.
It doesn't matter which way you look at it, Rich. It's a new chapter.
Yeah, and we want to see, you know, McAtee. You know, I do think there are, you know, McAtee comes back. I think Alvarez needs a lot more game time, and Pep said that. I think Rico Lewis needs more game time. So I think we have got some of those young lads coming through. Who, yeah, I mean, I can't comment on Pereira. Everyone does, but I've seen so little of him already.
No, I've not seen any of him, but maybe
that's I'd love to see coming from the academy. I mean, I know there's rumours of him going out on loan or something, but I would like to see him.
Who's that?
Forge.
Carlos Forge.
Apparently, there's links and he's going to Forest for 11 million.
Well, I'd hate to see him go, but if he goes,
with a 30 million buyback 2 years later,
or whatever it is.
But no,
look at Lavia.
the drill.
We all thought Lavia might come back. City have gone, see ya, not for us, and they've allowed him to go now.
Can we talk about probably what are the two most likely? Because it looks like Kovacic is nailed on. We'll probably get that. That'll probably be done by the end of next week. And then if one Croatian walks through the door, chances are there's going to be another one, because it looks like we're pretty well in for Josko Gvardiol from RB Leipzig.
They're still just working out on the on what Leipzig want for him at the moment, Pat. I think personal terms are pretty much agreed. It's just now between the two clubs.
Yeah. And they also want to
shift Laporte.
Yeah. He wants to move.
We also want Laporte a bit more certain as well, because we don't want to sign Gvardiol and have Laporte staying. So I think there's a bit there.
There has been an offer for Laporte. That was Tottenham, but unfortunately, he's about 20 million below market value. Typical Tottenham.
Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Let's say we'll leave at the end of the contract rather than cheap. Suppose the club would rather get some money than nothing.
Yeah.
30 million still better than zip.
We should be getting.
This is what I mean for me. Thank you for the super chat. I just think sentimental has to go out the window a little bit on some of these. We're still a business.
Yeah.
And people look at us as a business. Sadly.
I think also, Martin, people need, players are going to look at us a lot differently now as well. I mean, yes, we're a big club, but I think winning the Champions League and winning the treble has just now pushed us to the next level of, we are now kind of like players are looking at us more seriously, than they ever have, and we should be taking advantage of that. Let's go and get some big top players, because if we are going to lose, several players, then we need to be replacing with top quality.
I know, Alan. Sorry, Ozzy. Alan, you need to go now, don't you?
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, mate. Thank you for all your hard work over the season.
No problem. I'll speak to you in the week. Safe trip home, Pat.
Thanks, Alan. We'll talk to you in a bit, mate.
Sleep well.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Catch you.
And I think there'll be a few things going on. I'm not saying they'll happen or remotely happen, but for example, I've got no doubt that there'll be talks with some very big players that haven't really been mentioned by us or in the rumor. For example, we know who PSG's number one target is, and we also know that there is some really bad feeling between PSG and Real Madrid about things that happened 12 months ago. So I think there'll be conversations.
City ain't touching Mbappe, Rich.
I think they will try. I bet you Pep will speak to him on the phone this week. I'm not saying there's any chance it's happening, because he'd have to halve his wages, and I don't think that's
Rich is the guy on Blue Moon 4 who started the Neymar room.
No, not at all. Neymar started the Neymar rumours, and his agent, desperate. They started them again this week.
Any
And
guy
I
who
think,
puts Paddy on the halfway line, 'cause the ball don't get past to him. You think that's going to last 5 minutes in a pep dressing room? No,
it's not.
No, you're right, Martin.
You know,
but
he
think...
might. And some players want to actually win things, do better, and be ambitious. And you know, I think there might be a few surprise conversations. Not saying they'll go anywhere, but they'll be guaranteed they'll be happening because there is only 2 or 3 options. And if the fallout between Paris and Real Madrid is true, they will be desperate he's not going there. And their number one target, Declan Rice. Declan Rice, he's grown on me massively in the last.
Because everyone in the chat is saying not for that money.
Well, if Jack Grealish was 100 million, what he'd done at the time we signed him, Declan Rice is a miles better player with a miles better record at that stage than Grealish was. Comparing to Enzo, he's 120 million. And I think, you know, you can even say that, you know, Rice is up there easily with Jude Bellingham. He's got a better international record and he's played in a, you know, admittedly not for as good a team, but he's played in a much higher league. So if you look at Grealish, Enzo, Bellingham as 120 million players, then Declan Rice is. I mean, I've always liked that photo he put out on Instagram of his pool room with the which is like 5 City shirts. You know, it's Silva and Sterling and De Bruyne, Aguero, and there isn't a single West Ham fan who doesn't want, if he's going to leave, they want him to go to City. So for the club, it will be an infinitely easier thing for the for the owners and the management of that club to sell him to a non-London rival. So I think there's and I think Rice is a player who's adaptable. I think, you know, whether it's, you know, an apprentice John Stones or whether it's, you know, alongside Rodri or whether it's going a bit further forward, I think he is, you know, he's shown this season he's a bit more adaptable.
The thing is as well, though, Rich, I mean, for me, talking about price, though, I mean, what has he got left on his contract? Is it a year? Is it 2?
1 year.
I thought he's got 2.
When we signed Grealish, he had
4
years
left.
years.
Yeah.
Because he signed a new contract, 4 or 5 years. So it was understandable why he would go for that kind of money. For me, I think I have to kind of agree. I think the price tag is just way too much for a year left of his contract. He's not Bellingham. Do you know what I mean? He's a quality player, but I think under Pep, he's good. Under Pep, he could be brilliant. Do you know what I mean? But for the price that West Ham want him for,
but don't forget,
a year left.
Pep's next job is going to be England manager. We are going to sign over the next couple of years English players, and we are going to have, I think we're going to have a big English element in the squad. And I actually think for City, that is one thing that totally shuts down some of the crap we get. Because imagine how people are going to have to deal with it if England win the World Cup with Pep as manager and 7 City players in the side. And they're going to have to clap and applaud their heroes every week, even though they play for City.
Yeah, but no matter who City get us, they're going to pay that kind of money.
100%.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, but for 1 year on a contract.
To be honest, Ozzy, if we sign a player and they do well, we're better off paying 150 million for them than we are paying 50 million for someone who doesn't cut the mustard.
Plus he's English.
Yeah.
West Ham's captain.
And Premier League proven.
Ultimately, Calvin Phillips could have cost 2 million, and last season he would have been an expensive buy. And at the same time, Ruben Diaz could have cost 100 million, and we'd have got our value from him. So it is a business, but I want us to go and sign players who are flexible enough, good enough to.
But that's what I'm asking. Is he flexible?
And if we pay extra, that we won't know until he's come.
Nobody's ever seen Declan Rice play anywhere else other than 6. This is the problem. And the problem is we have a world-class number 6, and he isn't going to do a Phillips and sit on the bench.
No, but we play. We've got Rodri. Yeah.
No,
we've got at the moment we've got Rodri and Stones playing together.
It won't
got Rodri and Stones playing together.
Declan Rice could go to Arsenal and play nearly every game for them. He's not going to turn that. He's not going to turn that down to come and play 25 games at City. Won't do that.
But Martin, if Gundo goes,
We'll see.
Rice
We'll
will be his replacement if Rice comes in.
But that's what I'm saying. Has anyone ever seen him playing 8?
But
I think he
Martin,
has slightly for England, hasn't he? I think that's where he's done a little bit more for England.
We change how we play. Ultimately, in that role at the moment, you know, we're not just playing a number 6. Most of the end of the season, we've been playing Stones and Rodri together in midfield, which means inherently you've got 2 spots, not 1, and that's going to need rotation. We also, in big games, use Bernardo to come back and play as a 6 alongside Rodri if we're playing a back 4. So with the flexibility of our system, even though you don't name at the start of in the number 6 shirt at the start of the game in number 6, a hell of a lot of time we're playing 2 players effectively in that role. Whether we've tactically switched them up there from defence, whether we've tactically switched them from right wing.
I'm just going to get Declan Rice's heat map up. You just do that.
Pat, what are you thinking, mate? Like about Rice?
It's a lot of money for a player with one season left of their contract. Bringing him in to possibly try and compete with arguably the best number 6 in football, despite the fact that
but he's not been brought in to compete with Rodri. He would not be being
brought in for. That's the only question. There's not enough of him playing other than a number 6 for me to say that he should come. I don't know unless Pep's got some sort of thing in the works at the moment where he sees Declan Rice playing,
which he has.
I'm not sure, but right now, if it's based on everything we've seen Declan Rice do at a Premier League level, then it doesn't excite me. It doesn't excite me at the moment.
Do you think Stones and Rodri can start 70 games each next season? Do you think we can replace if Bernardo goes? Do you think we can place the work he does defensively with another right winger? We can't. We can't. So we are a team. Pep has and I guess this is the chat Martin and I have had many times. Pep looks for footballers who can do multiple roles, and he watches them. And some of them we've never seen.
Rich. Nobody's ever seen Rice do multiple roles.
No one had ever seen Bernardo play left back or centre midfield at Monaco. Bernardo had never done that at Monaco, but he came that. No one had ever seen John Stones in midfield. I mean, no one had seen Fabian Delph playing, inverted left back. I mean, that's the thing with Pep. He looks for players who he thinks have got the mentality and
don't need a centre back, mate.
We don't need the intelligence to play.
But then, if Kovacic comes in. If Kovacic comes in, which is more than likely, does that take us out of the Rice?
No, I think if Gundo and Bernardo and Phillips go, we need 3 players. I mean, replacing Gundo is almost like replacing 2 players. Replacing Bernardo is almost like replacing 3 players. If Phillips goes, there's another.
I disagree with BB. Yeah,
I think we need a lot.
Actually play 25, 30 games. He's captain of West Ham. He's an England international. He's not going to be happy sitting doing the Phillips role. No chance.
And when we're saying we don't need a centre back, if John Stones gets injured and we want to play the way we're playing, we need a player who can step up from, not one who can step into midfield and play the way we play. But he's never done that either. So you're saying Rice can't do it?
Then have you, Rich?
Yeah, I've watched a bit of him, but I think
we can easily do that, Rich. Come on.
We're going to be playing him wide left.
Very versatile. He's very versatile for where he plays.
That's what I'm saying. We need multiple, very versatile, very good players, and I think
what we're saying, Rich. When we're saying to
and
you,
I think Rice can be
nobody's seen the evidence of Rice being versatile.
And I'm saying that in nearly every case,
unless you've seen
we've had this season,
nobody in the world has.
But we hadn't seen that from John Stones. We hadn't seen it from Bernardo. We hadn't seen Gundo play.
They weren't 100 million quid. You want to gamble 100 million quid for a guy who may be able to do it. That's what we're saying.
If our coaches who will have watched every single game he's played for the last 3 years. No, if our coaches who've watched him every single game for the last 3 years think he's good enough, then absolutely I do. And honestly, I think he is he has been one of the best. And I'm not long term a Rice fan. I think 18 months ago on this show, I said Phillips was a better player, but I think this season he's been one of the best midfielders in the Premier League.
I prefer now. And
he's been more versatile.
I think Rich has got a
but
point.
Kimmich is the peak. Kimmich is the peak of that role. So
Kimmich
that's a no-brainer.
He's not leaving. You can just forget that, I'm afraid. No, I think you make a valid point, Rich. I think, any player under Pep can be versatile and can be made versatile in a lot of respects. We've seen him do it to other players, like you said, like Stones. But I think I have to agree with, Pat and Marty and say, for the amount of money that he's going to cost, to gamble a little bit. I mean, Pep is a genius, but for the money, that's where I have a bit more of a sticking point. I think with a year contract left, it's not a gamble you can take, especially if Kovacic is coming in as well.
Do you know, with the money we raised last summer, the negative net spend of 150 million, the club's 50 million in profit last season, it will be more than that in profit this year. I think we can afford to take the gamble.
Another 294 million from all the
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm going to have to stop because people are asking.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to move to the draw because people are absolutely saying they've got to go. Right. Okay. We'll do the draw now. One thing I want to do is say thank you to everyone who's joined in. It's been amazing. I have got the list in front of me. Where's it gone? It was in front of me. It says. Excuse me. It's on my desktop. Now, what I'm going to... Oh, no, that's not it. Let me get rid of that. There it is. There's the list. I've got the list of every single person who's become a member. What I have here, and I'm going to take off my background so you can see this in the best possible way. Make this as clear as anything. I have an app on my phone, which is a randomer. Now, the first thing we're going to raffle off tonight is this. The signed KDB frame. Now, all I'm going to read out is the name
is
of
that, is that signed by KDB or signed by you?
Signed by KDB.
Oh,
no, it actually is. There's a certificate. There's a COA.
Third price is a signed Costa coffee cup by
There is a COA with it.
Yeah.
And again, I want to thank everyone. I'm just going to wait for that to load. I'm sorry, I was making sure. So, come on. That's the only thing to get a free randomizer. You've got to get one with a load of ads. Wasn't expecting it to be that quick. I thought we were going to have a couple of minutes. We'll come back to the Rice thing in a minute when Rich has gone. If not, I'm going to get off that. Right, here we go. So, I'm just going to randomize the numbers from number 1 all the way to there we go. There we go. Right. So you can see live on air. Can you see that? Can you see the numbers as well? Right. This is for the signed KDB. Does that look clear?
Yeah.
I tried to do it so I can get the big numbers up so people can actually see.
Do we get thumbs up? Can we get thumbs up in the chat if everyone can see it?
Tell me you can see it all. And what I'm going to do is, this is not the draw. I'm just going to practice it to show you what it does. So you just go randomize, and it comes up with a random number. All right, you click randomize again. As you can see, it flicks. I might need to do it closer up. As you can see, all the numbers are flicking.
Yeah.
Martin, if you're going to show it, can you make it spin a little bit longer? Just add some suspense.
No, I don't have a time.
Bloody
hell, Pat. Watching, mate.
Well, where's your bloody soundboard with your? Where's your soundboard with your drum roll?
Pat, I've got 1 minute left. So let's.
Running to bloody
time.
Right. So this is the draw.
For that.
Right. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll add it for 10 seconds. Won't let me. Bloody hell. 8 seconds. Right. Here we go. Done. Are you ready?
Good luck, everyone.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh. 25.
25. Manuel Akanji.
25.
Akanji.
Akanji
The
has
number,
won.
the person for 25 is
Who is it?
somebody early on. Belly 81. Belly
Congratulations.
81.
Billy 81. Bloody fantastic.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done.
So whoever Belly 81 is has just won the Kevin De Bruyne signed frame. What you have to do is email the channel at the bottom, mancunianway1894@gmail.com. What I will do is you will have 1 week, because I've got to be fair, 1 week to claim the prize. Because this is where we're going to sort out whether anyone's real or whether they're fakes. If you've not claimed it within 1 week, we will have to redraw it, and I'll do it as fair as possible. So, Belly81, congratulations. I want you to email me with your name, your proper name, because I can't go to Royal Mail or Hermes or whatever and put Belly81. Thanks, Rich.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
There it is.
Yeah.
You too, mate. Can't go to Royal Mail and say,
Congratulations,
can I
Belly.
send this to Belly81? They're not going to know who that is. So, Belly81, send me your details, email address, your full address, and we will send it, post it to you free of charge.
Can I make a request? Just a quick one, Martin. If Billy 81 and the next draw would like to send us their picture with the sign frames, we'll stick it on the Instagram account as well, just to show that these people have won it. Because I think it'd be really nice to be able to kind of show you off, these prizes.
Now we'll go to part 2 of the draw, which was donated by Donna and Lee. Donna can be in the chat now and again. Donated this from Football Prizes, a signed framed Bernardo Silva. Now this might actually be a collector's item by the end of the summer. He may be gone.
Yeah.
So the next draw is going to be for this. It's not as big as the KDB one, but it is a wonderful, wonderful prize. Trust me now. My son has been watching these all night and has been jealous as hell. And don't forget, 50% of all this is going to Alzheimer's Research UK. So
I'm
now,
jealous. I'm jealous. I couldn't enter the draw. I really wanted those prizes.
well, right. By the way, Belly 81, you can't win again. Be fair to everyone.
One and done.
One and done.
Just
Right.
like our thoughts of the Champions League.
Hey, back to back. I want Pat back to back.
No, I don't have to worry about the logistics of going to Wembley. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I need to speak to you about that. Wembley will be worse next season. Get off.
Woo!
Be easier for us.
Munich will
Close
double
to the
over.
screen, Martin. Close to the screen.
Oh, well.
That's
Right.
the phone, Martin, not you.
Here we go.
Here we go. Good luck, everyone.
Come on, good luck.
Here we go. It is
23.
What a number.
Wow.
What a number.
I have actually randomized that as well.
23,
Number 23
what a number.
is Adi Giwa.
Oh, congrats.
Adi
Abby.
Giwa.
Addy.
So, Adi Giwa.
Addy's
Well
been
done,
on here a bit.
Please send me
I've seen Addy in the
email.
chat a few
You have
times,
won
yeah.
the signed Bernardo
Yeah.
Silva.
On you, mate.
Congratulations to you. Again, you will have 1 week to claim, and if not, we'll have to come back and think. What I want to say is right now is a big thank you to everyone who has become members. If you don't wish to carry on, we totally understand. But I will put a poll out during the week to whether we carry on memberships. The decision will be yours. Always yours. If you want to carry it on, congratulations. We thank you for it. It will go back into the channel. If you don't, we understand and we'll shut the membership down. But the membership will never change. If we do carry it on, the membership will never go up from 99p and we'll never charge you to watch any extra streams. Not that anybody who does that is not, they're entitled to. That's up to them, but we will not. everything you watch on the Mancunian Way will be for free. So we'll put a poll up in the middle of the week. Right. So that's that done. Anything you, Paul? Thank you so much. It was a bit late for you to join in. Do apologise, but thank you for becoming a member. Thank you very much. Muddy Duck, I'm going to email you back because I want to speak to the lads about, because your emails and analytics are amazing and they could be a great thing next season to add to the channel. I'll have a chat with the lads. How do I get involved? Sorry, Timmy, it's already been done. Anything you two want to add before we...
Just like to say, thanks to everyone who's joined us this season. Obviously, we were hoping to get to the 2K, but obviously it's looking like we're just falling short, but hopefully we'll make it for next season. And we just really appreciate everyone in the chat and everyone who watches the channel's content. We do our hardest. Martin does an amazing effort and deserves a lot of credit for what he does. If it wasn't for Martin, there wouldn't be a channel. So he deserves a lot of plaudits. Pat, obviously, you coming in as a full-time member, we'd love having you here, mate, and hopefully you'll stick around for next season.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident Martin's not going to loan me out to, I don't know, the Sheffield way or something like that. So, yeah, look, can I just say what a tremendous few months it's been, for Martin and Ozzy as yourself. I haven't had a chance to meet you yet, mate. But for Martin, I've only really got to meet Martin personally over the last couple of months. And prior to that, to welcome me in with open arms and be able to express my opinions, but also just my passion for the club, the passion I have for this club in general, and the people and the fans, and to everybody out there in the chat too. It's like, the more and more I talk to you, I don't just see a YouTube name. I see a personality. I see a good sense of humor. I see everything that this club embodies as a fan base. And it's just something that drives and motivates me to just do more and do the right thing by everybody out there. So I'm extremely grateful. I'm forever blessed. And, I can only thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. And, I just hope that, the more times I come over here, the more chances I get to actually meet everybody. And we just go along this amazing journey, not just of life, but this journey of being a Blue. It's amazing how far we've come, in these last few years and everything. And there's so much to be so grateful for. And, as we all do as Blues, whether it's dark days or whether it's these amazing glory days we're having right now, we always stay humble, we stay true, and we keep the faith. And, mate, I can't wait to see what the future brings for this club and also for this channel.
Yeah, well said, Pat.
Can I just say that this is, from me, I couldn't do this without these amazing people. Yes, we have disagreements, as people do. We always do, we human beings. But I couldn't do this without Ozzy, Rich, Pat, even Alan sometimes. But, I just, before we get going, I want to say a big thank you to Beta.
Yes.
Come on. To Andy, who I've only met this year, and me and Andy are going to sit down, might do some more collabing with some former players. We're going to have a chat in the summer. We're going to have a chat with Ozzy and Pat and Rich. There's loads of ideas we've got in the pipeline. We need to sit and discuss them all properly before anything's announced. It's been a journey, and we're not in this for fame, fortune, glory. Can I just say, I had people coming up to me at the parade saying thank you and wanting to shake my hand. It really is appreciated. It really is, but you don't need to. You don't need to thank me, Ozzy, Rich, Pat for anything. We're not in this to be. It's really appreciated, and thank you all for doing it. I'm not saying it's, you're bad or anything, but don't ever think you need to do. Because we're not doing this for that. I've met some great people doing this. Big Steve, who I'd speak to on the regular now. Dap speak to on the regular. I've been asked to go on City Action now as part of the Avengers panel, which is an honour to be part of. Speak with Lewis, Jordan, Hugh. I've just met some absolutely fantastic people, some fellow Blues, and I just can't thank everyone enough. But the big thanks go to Ozzy and Rich, especially for putting up with me all season. I can be bossy. I can be like my own way now and again. But, you know, and Pat for giving up. Pat had his own podcast and didn't need to come and do this, didn't need to give up his time, didn't need to, you know, stop. We were going in to be part with Pat. And I just can't believe Pat is wanting to come to be part of us. And it's a pleasure and an honour to have him. You know, the Sydney Blues, you know, with Pat becomes the extended family from them. Alan with the Melbourne branch. You know, it's an honour. And I just want to thank everyone for it, all the work. There's somebody else I need to thank as well. He's in the chat. I won't name him. He does a lot of the behind-scenes stuff as well. A lot of images, thumbnails, videos. Won't name them. But they need a big thank you as well. Without that, this wouldn't look as good as it looks. So big up to them. I'll speak to them personally. Muddy Duck with his emails. So good at analytics and everything else. From the mods, FIFA, Michael Fina, from all the mods. Keep this channel going, you know, in terms of the chat and everything else. It's amazing. But the biggest thank you goes to everyone in this chat and every single one of you subscribers. Because this is not our channel. This is not my channel. This is not Ozzy Pat's. This is your channel. And always will be your channel. We can't thank you enough that an old dinosaur like me, people watch and want to listen to. Yes, my missus, I'm a boring old fart. Trust me. But people, I've met Ian Cheeseman many occasions, mate. I've interviewed him live on another channel that I was on. But back when I was on Man City Man TV, I interviewed Ian Cheeseman. JSGC, there's so many people I've met on this journey, and it's been an honour and a pleasure. But Ozzy and Rich, especially, and Pat, big thank you to Beta, True City fan, Carl, Gundalorian, Hamza, so many people have been on this channel. The lads at 9320, honestly, it's amazing. And if we could sit and thank everyone, we'd be here till 2 in the morning. Now, I had an announcement I wanted to make that Ozzy's been cropping himself all night about. We will be back next season.
Come on.
I'm not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
No. Give us the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not fucking leaving.
Yeah.
One thing, we are going to have a little break now. We are going to have a couple of weeks off. If there is any breaking news, if there's any like tomorrow, Declan Rice signs for Manchester City or agrees a fee, we'll come and do something. But we're not just going to come live just to chat about some guy on Twitter said we're going to sign this guy for this amount of money. No. If it comes from a proper source, we'll come live.
Yep. When they're holding a shirt, we go live.
Yeah, because as much as this has been a long season for the players and the club, it's been a long season for us. Mm-hmm. We need a break. We need to go and, especially me, I need to go and just disappear for 2 weeks off social media. I need to go and be with my family for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I need to go look after my mum, my dad. I just need to disappear. So I won't be on any other channel. I won't be on Betas. I won't be on anyone's. I'm just disappearing for 2 or 3 weeks. We'll then come back, new and improved. Going to get a new intro video. Trust me, that's going to piss a lot of people off. And we're going to be doing that. So, no, we're not going anywhere. Please share us around. We'll try and get back to where we are. But when we're back, we're back. There are going to be holidays in between. Ozzy's going away. I'm going away. So we're going to break everything down. There will still be shows in July, but just might be different ones because we're all away. Yeah. I'm away for 10 days. So 2 weeks at the end of July, going into August. I'm going to Turkey on my proper holiday. So we'll sort something out. I can set things up in between and let these legends there go live and host it. And no, you will not see me.
Man, I think we mentioned before, if there's a way I could do something for the preseason, I'll be in Japan and South Korea for that. So if there's something we can entail,
I'm more than happy to what we'll do is we'll sit down and we'll discuss the best logistics way around that. But we'll do some at preseason. We'll try and get Pat's idea about doing his Turkey things. I think that'd be a good one. But we'll see. We'll see what we can do. It's just we're gonna have a break for 2-3 weeks. That's why I don't want to promise anything at the minute. My focus is break, rest. See you later. That's all. So big thank you to all of you. It's not about me, them. It's about you lot. I just can't believe you numpties what will come and listen to us. But honestly, this couldn't be done without any of the people who support from Beta. And Big Steve has really helped this year, mate. Really been a big help. Ozzy's seen all the messages and DMs. Me and Big Steve are DMing at 2 a.m. sometimes. From all the Twitter spaces, everything is great. Thank you all. JSGC, City Extra. You notice all the links to all the channels are down below. MCFC, lads, everything. Go and subscribe to them. And 2 winners, Ade, you won the Bernardo Silva. You can't even see it now. And Belly81, email us, get in touch. If they're not emailed within a week, we will have to come back and redraw. But we'll let you know. So anyway, big thank you. We'll just see some hellos, some goodbyes before we despair. Can't be doing clickbait stuff half the time. From one dinosaur myself to another Martin. I'm not that old. Thank you to brilliant content. Laughs along the way. Love the city community. Top blokes. Represent us fan base. Stephen McInerney is very good. He is. Stephen McInerney as well. Very good. Tried to contact him a few times, but I'm just not getting through. Onwards, upwards, guys, to another successful season. Yeah. Get in. I normally watch JSGC. Jay's a top lad. What I call our Kevin De Bruyne backup. He knows what he means if he watches. They up, top lad. Really top lad. Mickey Wong, thank you. Cheesy's a legend. He is. All City people are legends. Look, top work. Haven't met who've done that one. Thank you very much. Big Steve is a total City fan. He speaks and defends our club. Yeah. Someone said to me a couple of weeks ago, can't remember it was sub 2, is that myself and Steve are the 2 guys to come to, and it just made me feel so proud. Listen, I don't mind people. If you want a selfie with me, knock yourselves out, but I don't know why. I'm not exactly a looker. I break your camera.
Eddie Sparrow's not exactly going to put the photos up in his store, is he?
Hey, I couldn't get my phone working for about 2 hours, part of after Monday.
Oh, shit, yeah.
So I make sure I've got everyone's thing up. Martin, you're away. Get the other 2 to run the show, and Alan. You think I'm putting Alan in charge of a show?
Oh,
dear God,
get off. They'll have no channel to come back to. Jesus will be shut down within a week.
Less than that, mate. 5 minutes of Alan.
Yeah.
Let loose.
By the way, Elliot, thank you. Your words have been so kind, and I can't thank you. And I hope you got back from Istanbul safe, mate. Thank you so much. Enjoy the Twitter spaces we have, mate. Really do. Thank you, Muddy Duck. You're a legend. Really are. Tenerife for New York for me. Going to Turkey. I'm going to Turkey after the event. You know what I mean? That's what I'm doing. We got no jokes about that. I was waiting for someone to go, oh, he goes afterwards. No. Yeah. Sadly, Julie won't remember half of it. It's the only good thing about this is I've sat and watched Champions League finals 7 times so far. And each time I've watched my dad's reaction like it's there and then. It's amazing. It's such an honour to watch an 82-year-old cry and smile. And that's, to watch. And those youngsters, all the youngsters are great. But it's the 80, 90-year-olds who have never seen City lift that. It was amazing for them. Yeah. So, that's one good thing I take a positive out. Again, to watch like it's a brand new reaction each time. Thank you. No, Stephen, best of luck for you. I hope you fight this, mate, and get through it. I really, really do.
Yeah.
No, never need to thank us, mate. Ben Martin comes back from Turkey. He's going to look different. Yeah, new teeth, new hair. Pat, where's your teeth and hair?
Oh, they were happy with him. They said you don't need any enhancements.
Glory hunting Martin going to Turkey. See, after smell. See, I told you
cosmetic glory hunting.
Yeah, and rest in peace, Gordon McQueen. Yeah. To keep the memories. Yeah, exactly. Have a great season while we're playing Rotherham. You'll get back. Don't worry, Paul. You're going to get our lad. You're going to get our coach, so you'll get back. Stephen Dempster's legend he is. Get well, Stephen Dempster. Spot on. Anyway, big thank you to everyone. Take a snapshot of this because you won't see this layout ever again. Enjoy. We'll see you in about 2 weeks or so. Keep an eye on that Horsey Sitter. And I'll still do some stuff on Twitter, but you won't see me on channels. I'm going quiet. Take care, all, and thank you. And don't forget, what a season. Never forget this. Never, ever forget it. Treble winners. We won the treble. They won jack shit.